It is Tuesday, February 23rd, 2016 at 4:54 a.m. And everything in me feels like I just heard a gunshot. A singular gunshot. And my first reaction is, "Duh! Gunshot!" But then then logic and reason kick in. I'm safe. I would really like to get a few more hours sleep. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if it was a gunshot I heard or not. Or if I even heard anything. I don't know. Maybe it's all in my head, you know? Fuck, I'm only human. Maybe it's all in my head. Maybe this whole chain of events that I've started within myself, not only with the chemical release and then the anxiety and blah 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 whatever else, but maybe I did it all to myself. Maybe maybe there wasn't a noise at all. And you know what the entirely reasonable realization is? It doesn't matter either way. Doesn't matter whether I heard a noise or not. Doesn't matter whether that noise was a gunshot or not. What matters is I handle it. So I must accept that I am safe and that there's nothing that I could do about it, even if it was. Right here, right now, in the circumstances I am in with the dynamic circumstance, which is whatever else, pick one of many things, and guess what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because I must be the center of my own universe for my universe to keep revolving. Because it relies on me. You know, I gotta keep my shit together. I've gotta keep my head in the game. I gotta keep... I gotta keep breathing. Ugh. At the end of the day... Oh, wow, that's bright. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter if I heard a gunshot or not, because it is not my responsibility to do a damn thing. Not in relation to that gunshot. You know, I am on my path, and I stay the course, no matter. And so, that calms me and relieves me. You know, there is no pressure, responsibility, or expectation on me. And it's not my place, which means I don't have to feel guilty. You know, I mean, whether I heard a gunshot or not, it's not my place. Not anymore. And that's okay. It is both my responsibility and my honor to accept my retirement, which is what I'm calling my permanent disability. I'm different. You know, I'm different. And this version of me was meant to be in the rear with the gear. This version of me really, 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 really likes air conditioning. And it's a vital part of how I function now, because for me to be the person I've got to be to succeed in this mission, I'm a survivor. I don't need anything. Sorry. Memories. I'm a survivor. I don't need anything. But for me to be the version of me that has enough calm in my mind and love in my heart to lead this mission, I gotta let all that which taught me, I gotta let it go. I gotta let it go, because there's no way I can swim while holding on to the anchor. I gotta let it go. And you know I love you. You know, and that goes out to everyone that has ever worn a uniform, foreign or domestic. I hope you know how much I love you. Because I have faith that you'd be there for me. And so we're brothers. And like I told the guy out in front of the VA last Tuesday, in fact. He and a couple of his friends were hanging out outside the VA, and I was having a smoke. He was having a smoke, and they were just standing over by the parking lot grass, you know, the three of them talking, and something called out to me. Something compelled me to insert myself into their conversation. So I did. You know, I could tell from the behavioral psychology, because I just walked past him as I was heading into my appointment, you know? I mean, and I could tell by the behavioral psychology of how he was carrying himself and acting, and how the other two women, the other two were responding in their behavioral psychology. I could tell that they were concerned enough about the situation that I was concerned about the situation. And I could look at him, and I could see not only the good in him, I could see the strength in him, but I could see the loss of hope in him. And I think that's what all it comes down to. It's that we're losing hope, and he was a perfect example of how we get that far. So I'm talking to the dude, and I insert myself into their conversation, and just speaking directly to him, you know, soldier to soldier, and it was a good conversation, and without having put any words in his mouth and asking questions specifically to cut to the chase and get to the truth, but to have him volunteer the truth quite quickly, because that's what happens when you're you know, when you know what you're after and when you know what you're looking for. Welcome to a cooperative interrogation. Sorry, I'm not that person anymore. Basically, nutshell version. Dude had started popping pills for pain. We're all there. We've all been there. Many of us are still there. Fuck the amount of pills I'm given. And then, in not knowing anything more to do, you do the only thing you know what to do, and you take those pills. At first, you take them to stop the pain, and then you take them to stop the pain. And that's what this guy had done. You know, he was checking in for to receive help in ending his problem with drugs. You know, and when I walked up, stranger from random person on the parking lot at the VA, right? You know, and out of the gate, I'm firing direct questions, and he's answering them direct. You know, and he's like, well, I have a problem with drugs. And I'm like, what kind of drugs? Narcotics. Okay, why were you taking the narcotics? Well, ma'am, started off as pain. I'm like, okay, and? You know, and because when you're told to take something for pain, it is a thin, blurry, gray line. Between taking them for the physical pain you just can't continue under, and then taking them for the physical pain that makes, taking them for the emotional pain that makes the physical pain so much worse. So much worse. And you don't know what to do, because honest be to God, I would so much rather have my body hurt than here. And you know what? That is why torture is still around. We may be able to research the statistical proof that the reliability of the information is highly questionable. But you know what? Having had a heated, compassionate debate with a very good lawyer friend of mine, a friend that before I went to Iraq, we trained constantly because a significant portion of women in Iraq are raped downrange, and so you're even given briefings about women to not go to the bathroom after dark, to stay away from the generators because they can't hear you scream, and so my good friend helped train me consistently for the specific, just in case, right? And he's the one that when the whole waterboarding thing came out like years back was, oh my God, but that's, and I'm like, yeah, okay, but by the time you've gotten that far from center, fucking stakes are high. And even if odds are the information is unreliable, you gotta cover all your bases. And if somebody fucked up to the degree of being put in that situation, what did you do wrong? What are the countless bad choices you made to end up in that situation? And you know what? In that case, if it saves even one of my brothers once, it's not such, especially the fact that I am living with being waterboarded all of the time. It's about information, and it's an absolute shame that society has degraded to the point of either the need or the action. Wow. So you're already in a catch-22 lose-lose, right? And I completely forget of the point because now I'm so distracted by myself. I'm not focused on my thoughts now. It's just, we need each other, okay? We need each other. And so I was talking to him real brief, because I still got an appointment at the VA, right? I was talking to him about the operations, I'm standing up, the execution, hey, you're not done serving. Get back in line. Fall in. And because so many of us, we just want to be led. We just want to be led. We are tired of being lost in our own head and responsible for our own actions. The beauty and trust and love of a trusted leader and the followers. It's a beautiful thing, and it's a soothing and reassuring thing. I mean, dude was standing out there fucking, smoking, puffing that cigarette as hard as he could, kind of thing, right? And he knew enough to realize he had fallen. He knew enough to accept that he needed help. And he knew enough to, with support of his friends, get his ass and do what needs to be done. He knew he had fallen, so get your ass back up. Okay? But it's so much easier to get up and keep going when you believe in the mission, when you trust the leader, and that's, I don't want to lead. I don't want to be a leader. I just always have been a leader because I lacked respect for the leadership. And in the circumstances when I have respect, I am a dynamic follower. I gotta trust you. And I am not a naive or blind person that will trust just anyone. You know, and if I'm putting my life on that line, if I am backing that play, I gotta trust you. That's it. I gotta trust you. And yeah, I gotta trust you. And that comes back to me thinking I heard a gunshot. See, it's so frustrating. I can't even lay on my stomach. Ooh, blood. Blood. God, my dog's sleeping and I'm awake. Jeez. Alright, I'm gonna end this and hope to hell I could go back to sleep. I trust the leader. And I am a dutiful follower. It doesn't matter if I heard a gunshot, because I am not the QRF and it's not my duty to respond. And you know what? I know what I think of when I hear a gunshot, but that doesn't mean what the reality is. That just as easily could have been a backfire, a firework, a blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's a million different things it could have been. But okay, let's walk the dog on one. Let's say it was a gunshot. It equally could have been a cop putting a wounded animal out of its misery. You know, I mean, it's GW Parkway. We do get wildlife and stuff around every now and again. And if somebody hit Bambi and it was fatal, just make it quick. Put them out of their misery. See, because it all comes down to perception. And so this is how I think myself through, talk myself through, and rationalize myself through. And understanding that stop being so prideful that I attach my own association to everything. How myopically arrogant of me. The world is much bigger than just me. You know, I may be the center of my own universe, but it's a huge galaxy. And it's not my place. My place is to have faith. My place is to have faith and to follow orders, as is yours. So fall in, receive instructions, and move out. Now at a bit over 5 a.m., 5:18, Tuesday. Let's hope I can get a few more hours of sleep before my doctor's appointment at the VA. To my better half, I love you. To my brothers, I honor you. And I love you. I love you in a way that nobody but us will understand. Because the kind of faith and the kind of trust we find in a foxhole it It's paramount. It is defining, and it is foundational. I love you. Good night. And be well. Because your happiness matters to me. Good night. Or good morning.